Welcome back to Go Again Gaming, and welcome back to the league that means nothing too. We have made it to round 5. We are now in the deciding brackets for the top 8. We're going all the way, baby. This is everything to play for. Everything, obviously, is nothing, but there's glory in everything, even in nothing. Just ask anyone. I'm hyper competitive, so I'll always find glory in something. I am Ian. I'm your commentator and resident psychopath of Go Again Gaming. We're generally speaking a very casual channel here. We love competing in flesh and blood for the love of the game. I like to win. But today, we've got two decks that have come a long way. They're the underdogs in the league. They're both sitting at a pretty 2-2. They are Matthew Kenworthy, Matagon on Twitter and on Twitch if you've seen him. He is piloting his signature Teklovossen Esteemed Magnet, a deck he has taken 5-0 in the Swiss of ProQuests, and he is taking on Sofia Romao from Brazil, who is on Riptide, Lurker of the Deep. So this is going to be an interesting, grind fest of a game here. Teklovossen, obviously, the longer the game goes, it really favors him because he can set up his evos, keep himself alive, and then bam, Ultron. You're in trouble now. We've got a cyborg, capitalist, psycho, ready to take cards out of your hand and just throw damage. And he can really whittle your life down over the course of maybe 2 turns, 3 turns. And Riptide, obviously, Riptide's game plan is pretty simple. Punch him in the face, get him down to like 6 or 7 points of life. Traps will finish it off from there. So, without further ado, I am going to throw over to this gameplay, and we're going to see a fascinating classic constructed game here on Go Again Gaming. So it looks like Matt is going with Hogworks base because he does not want to lose it. Because if you lose a base equipment, well, you can't really do the Teklovossen thing. And Sophia on that shitty Christmas present playmat, one of my all-time favorites, with a Dreadbore, seems pretty appropriate into Teklovossen, who is known to play quite a lot of defense reactions, using Dreadbore, loading a Sikkim Shot. That's the one. It's the one with Go Again. Arsenaling, having 2 Arsenal slots thanks to that New Horizons, and drawing up. Matt, obviously having no instance to play, decided not to filter any cards out of his hand on Sophia's turn and is just going to play an Evo Steel Soul controller, get a card on Arsenal, and we have 1 Evo. We're off to the races, but Sophia has a 6-card hand. It's pretty good. We're going to trench that extra card away, gain a resource, and use that resource to fire a Sikkim Shot. So this is really set up to do multiple arrows a turn here with Go Again arrows like this. I imagine she's playing some number of things like Falcon Wings so that you can set up wider turns and pretend for a little while at least that you are still playing Lexi Livewire. Now, what is Sophia going to do with this 4-card hand? She's managed to keep all her information hidden here, pitching a Tar Pit Trap. That might not come in useful till later. Loading a Sikkim Shot, sending a Sikkim Shot. Here's another 4 going. Oh, 5 because it was loaded with Dreadbore, of course. No defense reactions. At least not from hand. That's going to be quite a tough one for Matagon if he draws any defense reactions. It's going to be hard to get them out of hand. And what is Sophia going to do to finish the turn? Play this Premeditate, use Riptide's trigger to reload, and send in an Intoxicating Shot for 7. 7 on hit Ponder, and give your opponent a Quicken and a Courage, thus turning on all of Riptide's traps. And Matt is going to effectively survive that by gaining 3 and blocking 4. Which gives Matt some presence and gives Sophia a Ponder. So Sophia now has a ponder, and all of her traps are online. If Matt even ever decides to attack, traps are online, baby. Easy. So we're going to start the turn with Trench. I love Sophia is trenching the same way you see Azalea players be like, right, start a turn, bang, start a turn this, boom, easy. Load a Heat Seeker. So this Heat Seeker is going to get +1 from Dreadbore, and this is what a lot of people would dub the Snatch Arrow. Pitching 2 and just sending in the Command and Conquer. Pitching a Virulent Touch and something else. So just throwing a Command and Conquer for 6. Matt, just going to, here's your 2 cards. Um, for those who don't know, Heatseeker, if it hits, will flip the top card of Sophia's deck face up into her arsenal, pretty much guaranteeing New Horizons being active. And Matt is going to Evo. So let's see what Sophia decides to do from here. So we're going to pitch a take cover into Dreadbore, load a Bolt and Shot. It's now going to be a 5 go again because it gets +1 from Dreadbore and go again from the fact that it has power greater than its base. Technically, it has reload, but reload is not excessively relevant when your opponent is when you have a card in your arsenal already. Reload specifies an empty arsenal slot, and then we're going to follow that up with that Heat Seeker coming in for 5. Are we going to get another block here out of Matt? We are. We're going to get a full block. Sophia will move to end arsenal card. 2 counters on that Steel Soul controller now. Matt just going to arsenal and pass. So let's see how Sophia is going to sequence this. Straight away, Trench, Dreadbore. Doesn't even have time to get out a resource counter because she is Dreadboring. Speaking of, I have not seen a whole lot of anything other than reds and yellows being pitched. So I imagine this Riptide is on exactly 3 blues. So we're going to pitch into Murky Water. So it is coming in for 6. When it hits, you may banish face down traps from your graveyard. I don't think there are any traps in the graveyard. And Matt is just going to send an unmovable at it. Murky Water, obviously much better with aim counters because it gains Dominate. Not that it would have helped in the case of an unmovable. Matt is going to activate Teklovossen and then is going to Scrap Trader, banishing 1-2 Evos, gaining 4 resources, allowing him to play one of them as an instant from Teklo. So we've now got the headpiece. So we're pretty much locked and loaded. We've just one more and it is sitting in your banish zone. So we'll move to Arsenal, close up. Pretty decent turns from Matt. He's managed to assemble the Teklo suit pretty quickly. Now he's just looking for that singularity. Sophia is trenching, generating the resource. Shiny little Barcelona coin there, loading with Riptide's ability by playing a Premeditate and sending in a Sikkim Shot. So that's a 7 go again on hit Ponder. And let's see, Matt, if you have anything here. Yeah, we have a Sink Below in Arsenal, sinking a card. And Sophia has 2 cards in hand. So we're going to Dreadbore, pitching a Heatseeker just to get it out of the hand, I imagine. Put a card in the arsenal and pass. We're going to activate Teklovossen. And then we're going to play the chess piece, pitching into it. So that draws us a card. Guarantees us an arsenal. Well, we had an arsenal anyway, so that's 2 cards in hand. Matt has a choice of arsenal here. Closes up. And now Matthew is now in the singularity waiting room, which is a bit scary. If you're Riptide, we're going to trench, we're going to dreadbore, we're going to load a battering bolt. We're going to pitch into a battering bolt, 1 floating, sending 6 or 7 because of dreadbore, and no defense reactions from hand. So this is a really potent combination and will force Math into blocking with some of that Evo armor. Especially if his hand is full of defense reactions. So we got a 3 block here in the Scrapwork Mutt. Got a dog in him, going to 32. Trigger battering bolt. Singularity, but not quite the resources to play it. That's interesting. So let's see. Matt is probably going to try and clear his arsenal here. Or he's just going to send this, and we're going like, who needs... So this is now 10 overpower. Go again, because of that quicken token and that courage token that I may have been forgotten about. So we're going to block with 1 action. It's time for some traps. So we're going to boulder trap, because power is greater than its base. So we're going to put a -1 counter on the legs. It's pretty good. And we're going to trap again. No, it's a sink below. So that's going to be 10 covered, bottom a card, and draw a card. 0 damage dealt. 1 damage. Matt, don't forget your 1 damage. There we go, 31. And Sophia, please get rid of those 2 tokens there. Yep, courage and quicken are both gone. Now let's see what Sophia is going to do. And it's just going to be an Enlightened Strike for 7. It's funny how we're at this point of this game, Sophia has taken exactly 0 points of damage. And Matt is going to cover 7 here with a Steel Soul Controller and a Shade Foreseen. Draw up for Sophia. Leaves Matt 2 cards in hand. And we know Singularity's gone way away here. Now we have a Terminator tank for 9 when it hits discard a card. 9 overpower. Riptide not with a lot of armor here, so not the best spot. But hey, a card and 2 traps. It's pretty good. Block with Remorseless. Inertia trap. Dealing a damage. Giving an inertia. So is Sophia going to take 3 here and discard a card? No, we have a take cover. Reloading. And covering the full Terminator tank. We may yet see Second Cycle. We may yet see Singularity as an option in this game. So Sophia is just going to draw up here and leave Matthew with a 4-card hand. Something that Teklovossen, not the best at using, can use it, but obviously it's not the best. So we're going to start with the gun. This is 1 for 3 go again. And we have a Frailty Trap. It has go again, gives Matt a Frailty, deals him a damage, full blocks this, and in fact reduces its power too. We've seen some serious damage being dealt with traps here. We're going to activate Teklovossen to get some cards out of our hand. Move to the end of turn. Arsenal. Leaving Sophia with 3 cards plus her arsenal here. And we're going to trench that arsenal away. Activate Dreadbore. Loading a withering shot. No, not a withering shot. A sedation shot. So a 0 for 5, or 1 for 4 here. We're going to block 2 with the headpiece. I imagine, yeah, fate foreseen from Arsenal here. So 1 for 5 thanks to Dreadbore. And Sophia's just going to Arsenal. And pass. So let's see what Matt decides to do now. He's taken a surprising amount of damage from traps. Yep, Annihilator Engine. When it hits, destroy all defending cards, so don't block with equipment. Well, don't block with equipment you might need. Sophia, all their equipment has blade break, so it would break anyway. But this is another overpower, a 9 overpower again. So we have a 3 block here. Do we have any more traps? Are you going to take our first damage of the game as Riptide? No, we do have a sink below, so we're going to sink a card. Currently, we would still be taking 2. And Matthew would finally be on the board. No, trap. No trigger. But still, full cover. And what's Sophia going to do now with her couple of cards in hand? That's a codex. That's a codex. Dead giveaway, that's a codex. 100% a codex. That's the most codex coded thing I've ever seen. Ranger looks at hand, looks at graveyard. Codex, Riptide trigger, reload with Riptide. Trench in response, codex still on the stack. Bang, gain a resource, get a card back. No downside. I note how Rangers are the only class in Flesh and Blood still allowed to read. Well, them and Assassins. None of the rest of us are allowed to read anymore. And we're going to send Heatseeker in for 5. Really powerful with Codex of Frailty because it can set you up with a double arsenal just on its own between this. So you're going to fabricate in response from Matt, give his Evo equipment +1 defense, and banish an Evo from his hand to draw a card. Block with the head and the legs. So the head is currently blocking for 2. The legs are currently blocking for 3. So that's 5. Full covered. But that headpiece is going to need to be refreshed because it can no longer block. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure that was what Matt banished. So you can just reset the headpiece as we drag this game into deeper waters, murky waters, if you will. No, we're just going to send Demolition Protocol. It doesn't do a whole lot in this matchup, except, hey, here's 7. I wonder if Sophia is going to be like, well, this has no on it. This has no effect. Can I go to 31 and just keep my 5 cards? Really, it depends on what she can do with it. We've seen a very defensive approach from Sophia so far. We're just going to fate foreseen it. Opt. Put that card to the bottom. And take 2. 3 even. It's not too bad. Matt, you're finally on the board. How's it feel? Teklovossen, your campaign has the momentum of a runaway freight train. How are you so popular? So Sophia going to pitch Enlightened Strike, activate Dreadbore, and load a Murky Waters, and pitch and fire a Murky Waters for 6. 7 off Dreadbore. I'm gonna every time that's gonna miss me by a mile, and we're just gonna full block that one because Matt does not want Sophia getting traps back. And we're gonna send the gun, pitching an unmovable, a deeply unplayable unmovable when it's in your hand. I wonder, does Sophia have a trap here? We do. We have a frailty trap, so deal a damage. Just kind of chipping away at Matagon's life total here. It's a pretty good spot to be in, to be honest. X. Some way of getting traps back. I think we're getting a trap count from Sophia to Matt there. So we're going to activate Dreadbore. And we're going to attack with a Command and Conquer. Let's see what Matthew decides to do here. Yeah, we're just going to block 6 with a chess piece and a chess piece. We're going to chess bump this Command and Conquer. Cards will go to the bottom. And we're going to drop. Gain 3 life. Oh boy. We might be in for a long one. And then we're going to activate Teklovossen. And play Scrap Trader. Banish a couple of Evos from our graveyard. A chess piece. And the headpiece, which Matt can now use the 4 resources from Scrap Trader. Refresh the headpiece. It's now as if nothing had ever happened to it. So we're going to just send a Murky Water back from Sophia. 7 on hit, return some traps, blah, blah, blah. Matt going to unmovable that one from Arsenal. Sophia just moving to the end of turn. The one thing about Riptide is because you're so redline, you're not going to get to a point in your deck where you're like, I've run out of threats. Which can always be a problem in these sort of fatiguey game states. Now, this is a card that's good against Riptide. Command and Conquer from Matagon. What the hell are you going to do, Riptide? Nice traps. We're going to trench. That's what we're going to do. We're going to generate a resource and take 6. No matter what you do, can't catch Riptide missing. So we're going to lead with this Ravenous Rabble. Trigger Riptide. Reload. Reveal. Oh, that is tragic. Riptide plays 3 blues. And naturally, when you Ravenous Rabble, What else are you going to do but find the blue? All right, we're going to Dreadbore in a Bolton Shot, having paid one resource using our Trench of Sunken Treasure. We're going to block with a Warmongers and a Steel Soul Controller. Memory. I'm terrible with card names. I'm just really good at remembering exactly what every card in Flesh and Blood does. And then we have a Overpitch into Teklovossen to play Evo Steel Soul Processor. And follow up with a Liquid Cooled Mayhem. So a 0 for 6 right now. Seems good. Seems fine. So Sophia obviously thinking about what to do here. Matt has really started upping the pressure of the game now. Is Sophia going to take 6? Is she going to block some of it? What is the play here? We're going to trench. We're going to make a resource. We're going to send in an inertia trap, triggering Riptide to reload, and then we're going to take Tripwire Trap. No effects don't trigger, but this will deal 2 points of damage here, just by being 1 point of damage. Sorry, for Riptide, and then full cover on this Liquid Cooled Mayhem. Not that there's any on hit effects right now, but it is one of the Crucible of War traps, which can only be played from Arsenal. Now we pitch our blue here into Dreadbore to load the last card in our hand. It is an Endless Arrow and send it in for 5. No defense reactions from Arsenal. Block with Steel Street Enforcement. It's a 5 block. I don't know if anyone watching this game has ever watched the old Pokemon anime, but I believe one of the early episodes had 2 Metapods casting Harden at each other, and I feel like that's a very good representation of this game right now. And now we have a Weakest Link coming in from Matt, so a 2 for 6 with sometimes relevant text. Well, we've been through quite a lot of Sophia's deck, and we have yet to see a Rain Razors, so I don't even know if she is running it. Taking 3 from Weakest Link, blocking with Intoxicating Shot, revealing a trap, an Enlightened Strike, and an Endless Arrow. So no discard from the Weakest Link here. And we're just going to send a casual 7 to the face. And that, what I presume is a trap because it was a yellow, is going into the arsenal. And now we're going to banish an Evo with Fabricate, give our Evos +1 defense, block with our Evos. So that is a bunch of block. Full cover on this Enlightened Strike. Let's see where we go from here. Now it is time to consider refreshing our arms and legs because they can't block much more. So we're going to activate Teklovossen and play an Evo. Steel Soul Tower. And obviously with Teklovossen active, that was an instant. So now we're going to Annihilator Engine for 9 overpower on hit, destroy all cards defending it. So let's see what Sophia decides to do here. So we're going to Pitfall Trap first and Fate Foreseen. So Pitfall Trap is a block 3, deals the damage when played from the arsenal, And then when it defends, deal 2 unless the defending player pays a resource. So that is currently 7 block. Matt looks like he took 1 damage but paid the resource for the extra 2 from Pitfall. Now we're going to activate Dreadbore, pitching a Silver the Tip. Okay, that's an interesting one. Arsenal and pass. We're definitely hitting second cycle in here at some point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you that much. So we're just going to refresh another Evo and Arsenal and pass. Ravenous Rabble revealing a red. That's pretty good. So after the Rabble, we're going to Dreadbore in, pitching a Virulent Touch. Obviously, Matt has sank below that. Rabble, and now we're following up with a Command and Conquer for 6, blocking with 2 Evos, arsenaling, and passing. So let's see where we are here. We're going to re-equip some Evos. Matt is just trying to dig through his deck as quickly as possible to get to Singularity so that he can close this game out. We're getting a deck count here, so we're trying to figure out who's fatiguing whom. I'll be very curious to see who it is, in fact, is going to fatigue first. Because it's starting to look like the graveyards and the decks are about the same size. Activate Dreadbore. Arsenal Path. Just moving straight through to the end. Not giving Matt a chance to cycle out his cards. So you're going to have to activate Teklovossen if he wants to cycle cards. The inbuilt ability mana sink here is very good for Matt here. Now let's see if Matt decides to do anything or not. Well, with 2 cards in hand, card in arsenal. He's really thinking about playing this arsenal here. And he is. It is a Terminator tank. On hit, discard a card. 9 overpower. So we have the boots, which are perch grapplers. We have a boulder trap, putting a -1 counter on a piece of equipment. Do we have any other blocks here? Because currently we have 5. There's some discussion among our players here. Just trying to decide which thing is the optimal equipment to put a -1 counter on. So we're going with the chess piece. We're getting a trigger here from Riptide, dealing a point of damage. And do we have another trap? We don't, but we do have a sink below, covering 7, 8, 9, putting a card to the bottom, drawing a card. Now let's see what Sophia is going to do. She's going to activate Dreadbore. Pitching a take cover. Load and pat. Has she switched to a complete fatigue plan? Because that sounds insane going into Teklovossen, who has an endgame and a crazy one at that. But Matt might be all out of Evos to put into play, but that just gives Teklo more fuel when he has finally cast Singularity. This is crazy. Has she just given up on attacking entirely? Well, we have a Liquid Cooled Mayhem, a 4 for 0. Those are some good old honest flesh and blood numbers. 0 for 4, no go again. But Matt might be starting to break up his hands here because there's a lot of things like reactions and things that you don't get a chance to clear if your opponent doesn't do anything. And we're just going to take cover, blocking 4. Reload text is irrelevant because we have a card in Arsenal. Sophia is just going to look at her arsenal and think, is Matt going to do anything? Is he able to pitch into Teklovossen to cycle a card? We're just going to activate Dreadbore, draw up and pass. Oh, yeah, Matt. Yeah, we're going to just keep on loading up some Evos. Arsenal pass. Count the graveyard. How many Evos have you been through here, Matt? I don't know what the game plan is here. I'm very curious. So we're going to trench our arsenal, make a resource, use that resource, load, activate Dreadbore. Load an arrow. So this is a sedation shot, and we're going to send a sedation shot. So we're going to send 5 no defense reactions from Matt. On hit, inertia. Matt's going to give up 5 block here. And now we have a JYD, the Junkyard Dog. When this card attacks, scrap a card. If a card is scrapped, gains +1. So this is a 3 for 7. Those are some Michael Hamilton numbers. 3 for 7, block 3. It is just a raging onslaught that enables your game plan. So let's see what Sophia decides to do here. Just taken 7. Have we switched back to a more aggressive plan here? Or what is her game plan now? So we're going to trench. We're going to Dreadbore. We're going to load a Remorseless. And we're going to send a Remorseless. So no defense reactions. Don't even think about it. None from Arsenal, none from hand. 6. You better not even think about defense reacting. But look at that. We have 6 block. We have the legs, which block 1, 2, 3, and we have a card from hand. And then Sophia moving to Arsenal and passing. So we have a mechanical strength, pitching blue. So this is a blue mechanical strength. Costs 3, attacks for 3. But gets plus X, where X is the number of evos you have equipped. So currently this is coming in for 7, which is 0 for 7. 3 for 7 is a really good rate. Michael Hamilton numbers. 3 for 7 blue would break his brain. So we're going to tripwire trap, trigger Riptide, deal a damage, on hit stone of trigger. Not that there's any on hits here, but here we are. And we'll see if there's any other response. Matt is using the mana outlet here to dump a resource. And now we're going to pendulum trap, which doesn't really have a lot of text here. And we're going to take 0 because tripwire trap is a 4 block as it is a red. And, came with the downside of being forced to play it from Arsenal. So now we're counting decks again. And it does look like Sophia is ahead on deck. LSS, please. If this is the future of Flesh and Blood with Count Your Blessings, I don't want it. Now, Sophia is obviously committed to a very, very good game plan here. Pitching a Remembrance, using Dreadbore, loading another Withering Shot, playing a Premeditate, and sending in a 8, no defense reactions from hand. But this is a very interesting approach would not expect to see against a Teklovossen, purely because is that a signal jammer? That is a signal jammer. Generally speaking, Teklovossen wants a long game. Is Sophia trying to say, you want a long game? I'll hang out with you. Yeah, we can chill. And here we have a Liquid Cooled Mayhem, a 0 for 4. Costs 1 less for each Evo equipped. Conveniently, that's 4 Evos. And we're just going to Pendulum Trap it. Take 1 point of damage. And Matt is going to Arsenal and pass. We're going to send E-Strike for 7 here. So let's see what Matthew decides to do. Here's my gloves. They block 2. And here's a sink blow. Taking a point of damage, sinking a card, going to 24. Sophia Arsenal's draws up. And we're going to send in a Magnetic Protocol. Hey, you. Defend with X equipment you control with -1 counters on it. Do you know how many that is? 0. But it's a 3 for 5. So Sophia probably going to cover the 5 here. We're going to Tarpit Trap and take 2 points of damage. I wonder is that Tarpit Trap we saw pitched very early. We're going to Trench. And we're going to load a... And there's another Tarpit Trap. And we're going to send a Heat Seeker for 6. And Matt is going to block 7. Sophia put a card in Arsenal. Everything to the bottom. Drop. I wonder when we're going to hit our Singularity that we saw pitched early in the game. It has to be coming up soon because I distinctly recall this happening early on. So we're going to activate Teklovossen, get a card out of a hand. And then we're going to uh, steel soul tower. So we're all up, and then we're going to send in the gun. Now there's Sophia got herself another inertia trap, or a frailty, or a tar pit. No, it is a pitfall trap. Block 3, deal you 1, threaten you another 1, and well, another 2. So, and then we're just going to remembrance in some actions. This is going to be, well, ladies and gentlemen, this may be worth nothing, but let me tell you, we are here for a long time. That doesn't always mean we're here for a good time. And Riptide shuffling in a few cards there. Deck getting very thin. 4, 8, 12, 15 plus the 3 cards in hand, 4 cards in hand. Matt is at not nearly as gracious as Sophia to let her delightful commentator know exactly what is going on. And we're just going to Arsenal and pass. Praise be. Teklovossen time. Singularity. Okay. I'm pretty sure Matt has all of his Evos equipped now. Get to put 2 actions back into our deck. Because it triggers twice. 1. We gain 2 intellects till end of turn. We gain 6 resources right now, and we gain 2 action points. So let's see what happens now. All of Teklovossen's attacks have go again. And that was some transition there, as loved it. Banish 2 cards. Can you banish Teklovossen from that? I don't know. I've never read Singularity. Generally, I try and kill my Teklo opponents before we get to this stage. So now we have 1 action point. On attack, your opponent discards a card. And it's coming in for 6. We're going to discard a tar pit trap. And what are we going to do here? So we're just going to block 3. Because it has... No, it does not have overpower. You can full block this. And then we're going to send in a mechanical strength for 3 go again. Or 6 go again, 7 go again, whatever. I've gone delirious. So let's see. We're going to Buzzsaw Trap. Power greater than space. It loses and can't gain power this turn. So that is 3 blocked. And Matt takes 1 damages. Sophia with a card in hand and a card in arsenal. And that card in hand is about to get discarded. It is another endless arrow. So now we have 6 coming in. And we're just taking 6. And Sophie's just going to pass. And Matt gets 1 turn with a 5-card hand. And after that, his intellect drops to 3. So don't make deals with the devil, kids. Even if it's a tech devil, you'll get stupider. Yeah, we're going to have Terminator Tank pitching a blue. So this is 9, go again, overpower, on hit, discard a card. Give up New Horizons. Decide how exactly we're going to cover this one up. Give up Codex of Frailty, that's 4. And we're going to Collapsing Trap. Discard your hand. Draw that many cards minus 1. So draw 2 instead of 3. So we've kind of damaged that chance of your increased intellect here. And who knows what Teklovossen is drawn into here, but that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In an inertia trap. So another damage and an inertia for Teklo. So now let's see what Matt decides to do here. Because that could have potentially drawn him into a much worse hand. We're going to close the combat chain. We're going to end the turn. Okay. Well, that's something. And now we're back to even keel here with Matt drawing 3 cards a turn. So let's see what Sophia decides to do here. Counting cards in deck: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's quite a few cards there. Matt looks like he has considerably less. Is this fatigue plan going to work? If it does, I will be amazed. I might have to go for a long. Yeah, this fatigue plan is working. There's a remembrance. Put in 1, 2. 3 endless arrows with this remembrance. And she still has the Quiver of Abyssal Depths, which will allow to shuffle in 3 arrows with different names. Now, this is where cards like the new one, Plan for the Worst, maybe, which allows you to just buy traps back, would come in very handy. So in Matt's situation here, it may be more prudent to just attack with Teklovossen for several turns in a row until he can't do it anymore without losing the game. But instead, we're going to send in Liquid Cooled Mayhem for 4 go again. And 2 cards in hand. And I know Sophia pitched quite a few 4-block defense reactions, so we're going to block 3 here with this Heat Seeker and take 1 point of damage. And Matt is going to banish some cards from his soul, pitch a blue. Let's force Sophia to discard a card. She's going to discard a Silver the Tip. Is that the same Silver the Tip that I saw earlier that blew my mind? And now we're going to, I assume, block. So we're going to block with a take cover, covering 4, taking 2. And we're going to close the combat chain for Matt. So that Steel Street Enforcer in the deck is not exactly going to do a whole lot. Now we're going to send in a Murky Water for 7, allowing you to banish if it hits 3 face-up traps and put one at random into your arsenal. So very interesting to see what happens here. Matt is just going to block 7, keeping 2 cards in hand. So Warmongers, I imagine he didn't want to put it in arsenal. That could have been the 3rd card in hand. So now let's see what's left for Matthew Kenworthy. We're just going to send Teklovossen, pitching a Warmongers. And Sophia is going to discard that Virulent Touch that we've seen cycle through the deck 3 or 4 times now. And we're going to block 4. Didn't find the traps. Yeah, block 6. So we block 6. Maybe Sophia thought it had overpower for some reason. We're going to use Bullseye Bracers, load a Endless Arrow, and send an Endless Arrow for 5. So we're going to just cover 5 with Teklovossen, draw 4. Well, Matthew's running out of cards. He's actually running out of cards. This is crazy. So we're going to attack with this Terminator tank for 9 overpower. And I think this might be the end of the game. I suppose Sophia is able to trap from hand, load a trap from arsenal. So we're going to block 3 as our 1 action. We're going to Boulder Trap to put a counter on Teklovossen, reload with Riptide. And then we're going to Pitfall Trap, dealing 1 damage to Matthew. And then another 2 damage. He's keeping his 2 cards. And then Sophia is going to have to discard this card. And then Teklovossen, the esteemed magnet, finally ends this game. We have a few traps left in the deck. We're slowly getting there. But you just can't win the long game against Teklovossen. And let me tell you, Sophia gave a better account of herself in that fatigue game plan than I thought was physically possible. Well done to Matt, moving out of the 2-2 bracket into the 3-2 bracket. Commiserations, Sophia. You did the best. I couldn't have imagined coming up with a game plan like that, just pivoting to it and just switching to fatigue. It was really, really well done. So congratulations, Matthew. See you in the 3-2 bracket. See if that locks you a coveted top 8 spot where you can compete for the grand prize of nothing. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the matches, if you enjoy the league that means nothing, if you just enjoy Flesh and Blood, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Give us all your love. Big support for Team Turd, big support for Go Again Gaming, and big support for the league that means nothing too, so that we can make sure that next league, round 3, is even better. I've been Ian. I have been your commentator, and you can find me on Twitter at @findus_spirit, and I shall see you in the next one.